What's up guys, Ash here and welcome to Advanced Combat Volume 2. Here we are with Irene on 54 Violent, and she's fighting Gyro's squad, which primarily consists of a variety of clowns, with a little help and backup from Albus. Obviously she's tearing through these guys, but then there's the issue of what to do with Gyro himself. Gyro now has the game's highest block percentage, which is usually in the area of 300% block. And while I could use front breakthrough right here on Irene to take Gyro's block defenses from 300 down to 0, he's still running impulse fields, and so he would most certainly live in this case. And this is where Knockback and Stunning come into play. Despite Gyro's unreal block chance, he's not running Massiveness or Veteran, and so I actually use a Flame Explosion here to push him against the wall. As you can see, it triggers Stun right here, and so even though she only did 71 damage, he's completely defenseless now. And of course, this is a perfect time for Albus to kind of clean up on. Now, in this particular case, Tornado Slash is down, or I would use Tornado Slash, and this would be an easy kill. Instead, I use Storm Slash, and of course, Storm Slash as well is going to shred his block down to 0. But either way, you can see that whether Albus was an overcharge or not, there's always an option to deal with enemy defenses. As a variation to that, here we have Scion. He's on a Bloodwalker build, which of course has Giant Thunder and Atom Decomposition. And you can see he completely ruined these clowns here, right? But he only did about 150 damage to Gyro because of the massive amount of block. But of course, the clowns all here died to 20,000. It was a great chain kill. But now what to do with Gyro? Well, you can see he's still got his 300% block, and Scion doesn't normally have, like a way to knock back or stun. But since we're actually running Giant Thunder, that has a mastery called Thunderbolt, which gives a chance to stun. And so you can see it pop off right there, completely leaving Gyro defenseless. And then, of course, in Irene's next turn, she follows up on it. Completely defenseless. You can see even with Firewheel Carriage instead of front breakthrough, at 0% block, he can't live. And this is just, there's always a way to deal with this kind of stuff. And I'd like to highlight that Knockback isn't just used for stun. So this is from my Cruel Challenge video that I didn't post too many days ago. And you can see Blood Destron. And so anytime a Destron isn't going for cover, if they're going for cover, then they're going to use the range attack. But if they're out in the open, that means they're about to jump attack somebody, usually from max range too. And so you notice Blood Destron here uses first AP to move over, and he's about to definitely jump attack Bianca over here. Of course, Elisa sees it immediately and does a cover. On top of that, the Berserker Greatsword actually has a knockback effect, so it actually pushes him out one tile, and you can see the cover go off of there. So I'm almost 900% positive that Bianca was the original target.
BB.
And so BB then actually covers Elisa because he was going to counterattack Elisa for hitting him in the first place. Now, that incorporates, I have a wind build for her right now, and so Windhammer goes off and he gets knocked back again. These two tile pushes actually push him out of woodchop range or leaping jumping attack range, and so he can't even actually use it.
Ooh, the knockback! Dude!
And so, kind of mad, he does a counterattack onto Elisa.
I don't think he's going to jump attack.
And then Elisa being on Berserker is going to get in his face, very White Knight-ish style, to protect Bianca.
He was at max range.
They start trading blows. But make no mistake, one, Elisa saved the day, but two, Knockback is what ultimately saved Bianca from dying immediately.
Ooh.
So the major takeaways from this, one, there's always a way around enemy defenses, whether that's knockback, stunning, freezing, pulling, hacking, overcharge abilities, or simply sending enemies into AT hell. There's always a way to take down an enemy, and a little thought goes a long way. Two, no characters that have natural stun built in. Scion's Thunderbolt, for example, or BB's Wind Explosion, or even on the enemy side, White Clown's Double Hammer. Just important to know, especially knowing your enemy. And then 3, no characters that have stun via knockback. Litan is a prime example. Almost all of his abilities have some form of knockback. His body blow, frost crescent kick, double wheel kick, his overcharge ability. Bianca also has a ton: twister kick, wind whip, wind explosion. Obviously, wind build can incorporate wind hammer. Ray, Albus, Irene, Hazing, Elisa, and so just keep these abilities in mind when you're fighting. Responsive attacks are some of the most powerful abilities in this game. Here we have BB attacking Wei, who then recovers from Pepe mode and uses up his impulse fields, as you guys can see. Only to find Gemini, a web support drone, responsive off of BB with auto fire support, killing him immediately. Pretty wild stuff and great teamwork. Litan here is currently running my 12 gauge build, and as you can see, White Clowns are literally stockpiling bodies as he overpowers each one to death without even having to move. Pretty insane stuff, and responses are nuts. This white skeleton mask attempts to go for an easy kill on Hazing, and immediately dies to close suppressive fire. Needless to say, responsive attacks are some of the most powerful abilities in this game, and stacking their power can lead to an almost impenetrable defense for your party. I think Dandelion realized this, and as you progress further in the game, you start seeing things like lightning reflexes on the enemy, darkness hunter, auto dodge mobility, and this is where it's important to distinguish the difference between a responsive attack and a counter attack. Responsives, with the exception of abilities like Send No Send from Albus and Elisa, or I'm Ready from Hazing Sweeper, will absolutely miss when faced with Darkness Hunter or auto dodge mobility. And this is where it's important to consider counterattacking. So right here we're fighting these search drones, and Hazing's overcharge is particularly useful on here. But right here, when he finishes his turn, he immediately uses Ranger's new ability called Resistance Shot. Now, Resistance Shot is actually considered a responsive, and because it's considered a responsive, you can see he actually misses because of auto dodge mobility. The drone then counters, and because he counters, Hazing does a direct fire with Revenge Shot, which is considered a counter attack. As very particular, and the difference, of course, being that you can directly hit the enemy, and so he does actually deal damage with this. Now, he triggers damage absorbing and emergency drive and begins moving again, and of course, because Hazing fired, he's going to go into conceal and Overwatch, but Overwatch, of course, is considered a responsive attack, so it gets auto dodged again. The drone fires again, but this time directly. And so, of course, Revenge Shot fires again, and then he gets a hit in. And it's just important to distinguish the difference between the two, especially with how 54 Violent is right now. So, what are the major takeaways from this? 1, responsives are incredibly powerful until they're not. And although you'll find this more towards endgame, knowing when to use responsives is very important. You'll generally get good use out of responsives up until about 46 Violent, which is usually the first wall that players run into because of snipers offensively, and then rogues with Darkness Hunter defensively. And then 2, when responsives don't work, counterattacks will. Design tanky units like Litan Martial Artist, or Elisa White Knight, or Irene Martial Artist, and you'll find some amazing counterattacking potential that can't be dodged or blocked, especially if you're running skills like Unpredictable. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch and YouTube, and until next time.